So where should I go as I start in this course? Well, one place where you're going to go very often is to click on the daily schedule. As I look at this daily schedule, it is set up as if we were taking a brick and mortar class, which would meet, say, twice a week, maybe on Tuesday and Thursday. As I look at our schedule here, I would want to look at the lectures for, say, the prologue chapter, and there's two of them, and so there's one for Tuesday and one for Thursday. And then on the next Tuesday, I would then, after I'd studied all the questions and found the answers, take the quiz for that chapter along with the lab quiz for that chapter as well. So our schedule is to have 2 lectures, and then every third lecture would be the quizzes. That would be for a regular semester. If you're taking this course in the summer semester, you would have the 2 lectures every week, and then every Sunday night you would have your quiz taking for the lecture in the lab. So you would have a chapter every week rather than every 3 days. So that's our suggested schedule. You can look at these lectures at any time you wish during the week. You can look at them at 3 a.m. You can work on the questions at 3 a.m. if you wish. The only thing that is set in stone is the actual deadlines for these quizzes. They should be taken by midnight on their deadline date. So this first quiz here would have to be taken by midnight on this Tuesday, and every quiz after that by midnight on their successive date. So that is your guidelines and your deadlines for this course. So what information do I need to find for the quizzes? Well, all the information of the course is going to be under this content tab. So if we click on that, we see that there are chapters here. And at the top of this content tab, there's the daily schedule again. This is a PDF form, so you could actually download this if you want to have a form of the daily schedule on your refrigerator or something like that. Let's go back. But if we go into chapters here, we have all the individual chapters of this course. And we're doing this course chapter by chapter as seen on the daily schedule. So if we're doing chapter 0, the prologue would go in there. And here are our lectures. The TechSmith Relay lecture videos and the optional YouTube videos are in here, along with the PDFs for those lectures. So here's TechSmith Relay lectures and review questions, and the PDFs of the lectures, so the notes here, and the YouTube videos would be in this optional extras. Let's go back. Here are the study questions. And ultimately, I want to find the answers to all these study questions. I can do that by watching the lecture videos, or looking at the notes, or reading the book, or researching on the internet. But I want to find the answers to all these questions before I take the quiz, because the quiz is going to be comprised of these same questions. So you want to have your answers ready, and you want to know what those answers are before you take the quiz. The quiz is timed, so you have to have the answers in your mind as you're taking the quiz. You probably don't have time even to check your sheet as you're taking the quiz to find the answers, because you have to answer 50 questions in 40 minutes. So you really need to have this done, and you need to study this before you take the quiz. I will not give you the answers to these study questions, because the object of this course is for you to research and study, and not just to have the answers and take quizzes. So you have to do the research. But if we look at this study question guide, we have a bunch of true, false here, and as we go down, scroll down, we have some multiple choice, so we find the answers to those multiple choices. And if we go down further, there are a lot of multiple choice. There are some fill in the blanks. When you see this kind of question on the quiz, it actually is going to be transformed into a multiple choice question. So there'll be 5 possible answers for your fill in the blanks instead of just a fill in the blank. That just makes the quiz go much more smoother. So, and then we have some essay questions. There'll be 2 essay questions on each quiz, and they'll be selected directly from the essay question possibilities for that chapter. So I will select 2 of these questions right here to be on your quiz. So you want to have your answer to these questions ready before you take the quiz. So where do I find the answers to all these questions? Well, if I go into the content folder, in this case from the Start Here dashboard, and again I have the daily schedule up top, I want to go into chapters, and let's say we're looking at chapter 0, the prologue for the first week. Well, here I have the lectures for chapter 0, so I'll click on that, and there's 2 main lectures and a review lecture. So if I look at this first lecture, I get a TechSmith Relay video of my lecture, just like a regular class. So I would watch this lecture, and let's go back here. Here's a slide-by-slide PDF of my lecture. So it's what we call the lecture notes. And answers to questions will be found in these lecture notes as well. So as we go through the notes, we might find interesting facts. A kilogram is 1,000 grams, that sort of thing. Answers to these questions will be in these notes, or I could read the book, or I could do internet search, or I could start a discussion. But I want to find the answers to those questions. For instance, let's just say, take a look at this question number 3. The celestial sphere is divided into 88 modern constellations. Let's see if we can find the answer to that, whether it's true or false. I think it might be in the second prologue lecture. So as we go down through here, this second lecture, here's the answer. The celestial sphere is divided into 88 constellations. So, and there are 6,000 stars that are visible to the unaided eye on the darkest nights. So this is information given in the lecture notes, also given into the video lectures, and that would be the answer to that particular true-false question. So most of those answers are given in the lectures and the lecture notes. I may wish to consult the book to find other questions, answers to other questions. That should be almost everything I would need, but like I said, you could start a discussion, or you could Google a question and get your answers that way. So you complete that question sheet, the study questions for that chapter, and then study it, because the quizzes are timed. So you wish to know your information for the quiz. You don't really want to have your question sheet in front of you. You could do that, but because there's no one really monitoring what you're doing as you're taking the quiz. But it's timed, so you want to be able to do it rather quickly. And if you know the information on your question sheet, or just peruse it well before you take the quiz, then you will perform the quiz well within the guided time. Here's a quick note about the labs. If we go back into the content here and the chapters, say we have a chapter 0 here, we have a lab for that chapter. If we look at that, there will be instructions for that lab. So I wish to conduct the lab, do everything that is asked of me in the instructions, and if I do that, I should be ready for the lab quiz. So I want to complete that work and be ready for the quiz. And the lab is the only item in this course where I could actually have my materials in front of me while I'm taking the quiz. If I go back here, we have an exam folder here, and that's where our quizzes are. So we have the lecture quiz and the lab quiz, and they both will be due on the same night for that chapter.